Welcome to a fresh week on Jasiri, the place for bold conversations. It's Catch-Up Monday, and we can't wait, definitely, to serve you the tea on what went down over the weekend. But first, let's catch up with the ladies. My fabulous sisters, how was your weekend? Catherine, you're
Oh my God,
you're the one across from me. Calm down.
Wow,
Just get with the program.
Yeah, my weekend was full. I was almost dizzy. I went from, but it's when it comes to when you see students excelling, it's fantastic to see. So I was at
Say your child's school.
Go ahead and say
Let everybody know you are children.
Say it with pride.
Stop pretending like you're one young lady. Aged mommy.
Okay, so I was at Pan-Atlantic University at the weekend. They had the Students' Film Festival. It was amazing, the creativity. Like, I was blown away. I'm like, like, students are the ones who produced, they shot, they directed, they edited, and they had awards being given to... And one of my babies won. I was so proud of her.
That's really
Like, yeah.
And these yellow shoes are popping, man.
Yeah, was Jay in the production too?
He said, Mommy, I died in the movie. I said, they killed your character.
Killed in the movie.
He said, in Nigeria, I died in. He said, they killed... I don't know why mothers do that.
Yeah.
You didn't die. In Jesus' name, you didn't die. It's your enemy or it's the character you played. He said, but what's the difference? You died in the movie. I had to take something to fling at him. What do you mean by... Your character died in the movie anyway. So, and then... On Sunday, I had to go for a birthday party, which is... It's very rare to have my weekend full because I'm very stingy.
She's very stingy with her
I
time.
love my space and I love my... But I was on the road this weekend. Guys, you should be proud.
I'm very proud.
I'm not sounding like Lolo. Lolo is... Meanwhile, it is Lolo who had an easy... Lolo said she was home yesterday. Doing what?
Which is surprising.
Baby.
Which is very surprising.
Exactly.
No, my Friday was chaotic, honestly.
Yes.
In fact, before I could make my sister's 60th birthday dinner, I got there like to 9. You know, when I stayed on set longer than I expected, my tire burst.
Everything that could push.
No.
You didn't say so.
I just moved from,
It's
let's
not
say, Chevron
contagious.
to the next bus stop, and my tire stopped at that shop.
I don't understand. What did you hear?
So I had to
Wow.
leave my driver there, and I had to take an Uber. My sister was already feeling, you know how she can be a baby. And say, come on, baby.
I'm on the way.
I had to take an Uber from there. I just said my driver, saw the car. When you're done, come and meet me. So I didn't get home until very late. And my Saturday was in that
Same line.
But Sunday.
No, your Saturday was full of interacting with children. How did that
Yes,
go?
on Sunday, actually, I went... Where did I go on Saturday?
Saturday, you were
We
interacting
don't
with
know.
the kids.
We did not go with you.
Were you not with children, getting them to express themselves on
On radio?
Is it not Saturday? Hello?
Oh, because she made me wake up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday.
No,
So that's what I'm wondering. Why were you thinking, what did you do
My
on
senior
Saturday?
daughter, I gave birth to her vicariously. She made me so proud. She was on the show, and she was, I sat in my car through her because I didn't want to miss a second, or I don't want to listen to a
She
playback.
was such a natural girl.
She was so joyed. Next week, she's going to be all by herself on the show. She's going to do the entire hour.
Please, I'm Coco's manager. You don't use her.
I don't understand.
Her father needs to come and
This is why I
separate
say
these
next
women.
week she's gonna
But on Sunday, I couldn't, my car was out of commission, so I had to stay at home.
Oh, so you stayed at home, not because
sometimes
you
that
wanted-
is good.
Yes.
That thing that forces you to just slow down and stay.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm happy
I
for
leave
you.
my bed.
I'm happy. Really?
Congratulations.
Lolo has itchy feet, like, ajala, where are we going? So I'm happy. So because the car was out of commission, you sat
You two
home.
were out of commission.
Yes, I couldn't even go to church.
Oh.
Even though I really wanted to go to church.
You know,
I wanted to serve
church is
God.
where your spirit is with
Thank
God.
you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to serve God.
Blessings, how was your
Got you there in
weekend?
your house.
Yeah.
Been better. I won't even lie. Like, a lot of things have been going on
But mommy's around.
with me. Yeah, she is.
And Asha is there.
Yeah.
So, mommy and Acha are not really best of friends.
Wow,
It's stressing
surprise,
me
surprise.
out. It's stressing me out because I'm like, hey, stop that. Don't go near her. You
That's
stay
your
here.
grandchild.
You stay close.
But she warm up to her, I can assure you that my mom
Yeah.
was so scared of chili at a point.
Yeah,
But
so I think the challenge is, yeah.
She loved chili like her own child. When chili is not feeling fine, mommy will carry chili on her leg and say,
Yeah, but I mean, it was I was able to rest Saturday. Sunday, I went for a reality show. It's a competition, and one of my faves was evicted. It's sad, but yeah.
Okay, you went to lend support.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're not gone,
actually.
maybe if you're not gone, the person would not have been evicted. Have you noticed that sometimes there's some people?
Yes.
I've noticed it. I think it's in sports.
Yes.
Arsenal fans, I'm so sorry for this shade. They tend to say that if somebody is not somewhere something, they will win a game.
Yes.
The moment that somebody is something, they don't win the game again.
The things you hear
Just
in
accept
football seasons.
How was your weekend?
She made me get up at 7. I dragged Korede up at 7 because Korede made her radio debut. Thank you so much, Auntie. Thank you. She loved it on Saturday.
I hope it was recorded though.
Yeah.
Of course,
So when we got home
on our page.
when we got home,
girl.
my husband gave her his laptop, so she's done her radio flow, her radio show flow for the next week. I'm like, Kiddy, very serious. We have a breakdown of our segments. I'm like, ooh. I was very, very proud. No, seriously, I had a proud mommy moment. Then she was on radio talking about, I can't remember, she said something that almost made me cry.
Yeah.
You heard her?
What did she say?
She said, I love my mommy so much. She's the one that taught me how to cook.
And then the one I liked was the one that said she taught me when to say yes and when to say no.
Yes, when to say no.
That's very important. I'm teaching her boundaries, even if it means no to me, as long as it's a respectful no.
Yes.
And it's a no we can get away with. But no, that was so pretty.
From where?
So beautiful.
Let's have our moment.
I need to go listen to it again. But anyways, ladies, I want to ask a question. You know, we always ask questions here. So the question is, when you go to a restaurant to eat, do you tip the waiters?
Are you facing me? Nigerian waiters or foreign waiters?
Nigerian waiters.
Honestly, it's about service for me. I've gone to many restaurants that the waiters do not even know that they are called to serve. They serve you as safe. I'm in a high-end restaurant. I'm paying premium, and you still serve me shabbily. Why should I tip you? You're tipping for excellent service.
Yeah. So when you say being served shabbily, what do you mean? Because this is a bone of contention with me and my husband sometimes. When we go out, I expect a waiter, especially if you're in a premium establishment, if I say I'm not sure what I want, you need to be able to tell me, engage me. What is like the best thing you have on the menu? What's the best wine? What are the options of the day? There are some places that have soup of the day, meal of the day. Then if you see that I'm still, okay, madam, what do you like? Engage me on that. When you serve me, come back. You don't see them again till you get the bill.
I'm telling
Are you enjoying your meal?
You serve me?
So, and you'll notice in Lagos, I have to say this, a lot of establishments that have really good service are managed by non-Nigerians.
Yes. Peace out. Peace
And we know exactly.
So,
the
but
you know that
to-
some restaurants that are managed by Nigerians, they have either overworked staff.
Yeah.
They are understaffed, so the ones they have are over. So sometimes when I see that irritation in them, and I'm just like, I don't blame you, because sometimes you see, although not the premium ones, you see in those other normal restaurants, you see one person going around. I'm like, oh, so I won't blame them.
Like I almost thought to one of our favorite restaurants. They are on this same street. One of them. If you saw the way they served me, I was so upset. I bought fish. Do you know that they had to go and call their supervisor to put stew in my fish? I bought tilapia. Tilapia is 4,500 just for that piece.
Yeah.
I said, why would you put it? Said the price of pepper is high.
Okay, now see my issue with service and tipping. I hear where you're coming from when you say sometimes they're overworked. Truly, that's a fact. But for the fact that you're taking that job, and for the fact that you go to church every Sunday and roll on the floor saying, Father Lord, connect me to my helper, and you are not taking the same attitude to your work, in as much as you've accepted to do this job, in as much as you've signed a contract, this is where you work. Your work is customer service. You must take it seriously. We know you are tired. People know when you're tired, not they hide. But still be courteous and polite and have the patience to ask, Madam, what would you like? I'm not sure. Not you put a pencil in your pen and say, you're not sure. Some even do that. Some will even
they
give
don't
you
even
a
know
style,
their menus.
I had to say, excuse me, madam, I'm paying my money. And I demand stew with my fish.
But ladies, you know that with all of this, in some countries, tipping is not just expected, it's actually demanded.
Well.
Right? So while we do have a culture of tipping in Nigeria, it's usually two ways. We either tip out of pity or we tip because of exceptional work.
Waiting for the boys.
Weekend. There's actually a video of a bartender that got my interest, and this is what she had to say about tipping. Bartender, barman.
Restaurant, and you cannot afford to tip the staff. You cannot afford to eat there. Why would you go to a restaurant and not tip the service staff? You sit on the table with your friends and you eat. There's someone there who serves you, tends to your table the whole 4 hours or 5 hours. Some of you even stay up to 6 hours, and you just walk out of the restaurant. No tip, no thank you, no smile, no warmth. Does that make logical sense to you? Tell me. Even those of you that work in government, you always want your bosses or the people who are above you to tip you. How much more restaurant staff? It's always that simple. But you guys will never think of tipping. Yes, sometimes the staff might be rude because they've had a long day or because you're just annoying. Other times, they have nice staff that are very pleasant. It is okay to tip them. If you buy food of 10,000 naira, give 1,000 naira. Give 500. Give 200. It's not everything somebody will.
No.
My sister, clap for yourself.
She should not bring this here to
clap
Nigeria.
for yourself.
So the issue of tipping in the US has gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
It's so bad that people are reporting that if they don't tip some of these meal delivery people, they take their food back.
their food back.
And that's not part of the service. My choice to tip you is my choice to tip you.
It's
There are
optional.
restaurants who say that tips are mandatory here, and they add it. They'll add a 10% or 15% surcharge to your bill. That's fine.
That's fine,
Don't
but
bring
don't-
this here because tipping is voluntary.
Yes, it
I can
is
decide to tip based on the service.
Yeah.
I can decide to tip even just because it's my normal habit.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can
I
just tip.
decide to tip because I like the person, I like how the person looks. You see this entitlement versus free will thing. You don't bring this to a Nigerian. You see the fact that you even bring it to us and say, you must tip me, we died.
That doesn't make sense
We will
to
not tip
you.
you. Let
That's
me see
what-
what
yeah,
gonna happen.
that's what make me
Do you know
not
that
tip
we
you.
are so good in Nigeria that even I have tipped, but not just
No, we tip
bartenders.
and-
I've even tipped gate men.
Yeah.
If you see the way they packed me that day, and they were so excellent. Bringing out that 2,000 naira from
Wasn't
my
a
pocket
big
was
deal.
So that's
not
the thing,
a
like,
big
if you-
deal
if you-
at all.
if you
Unlike
have
those that do
excellent
nothing
service.
And just sit
open the
down.
gate, which is you are paid for, and they don't even help you pack. Do you know how difficult it is for someone like me to pack with my bag? It's a bit challenging. So when I get to some people at places and I see that, their
willingness
over
to
and
help.
above for me,
Okay, now take
I'll
a look
I'll
at
show
this
working.
example that happened at the weekend. I took a lag ride to PAU, and I was observing the driver. I just observed him. And he took me there, stayed with me, brought me back. I bought some things along the way. When I reached home, he just came out of his motor and stood outside my gate. I didn't even open the gate and say, let him drive in, because sometimes security. I said, it's okay, I'll open the gate and I'll go in. But he didn't even offer to help me carry my bags. I don't have a problem with
That's
carrying my
not a
bags. though.
problem.
People know me. I'm a one-man movement. I carried my bag, but the way he came out of the car,
Expecting
maybe to
you to enter your pocket.
So when I paid him, he now said, Madam, won't you add a small tip? I looked at him up and down, and I said, trust me, you don't want to go there. If I open my book with my red biro, my brother, enter your motor and just be going.
Like, and I feel like
it would have been easy to
honestly,
tip him.
I feel like even excellent service is, would I say, is subject to people's interpretation? Because
what's excellent
let's say,
Oh,
for
I was
example,
thinking what I did on
if
Saturday,
you are
I
in, if
remember.
I'm in a cab, right, I would tip you if you don't talk to me throughout the ride.
Oh,
But some people will feel like, oh, I have to engage.
have to don't
talk.
engage me.
It gets me upset. So that, like, there was this guy, he took me. I think the ride was like 1,600. He did not say a word, and I enjoyed my peace of mind. I got there and I sent 3,000 to him, and he was wondering like, I don't understand. I'm sure maybe he was even having a bad day. Like, I beg, I can't talk today. But that was excellent service to me.
Yes.
So you cannot ask me to tip you for doing something. What you did might have irritated. Some people carrying their bag inside might be, you're invading their privacy, right? So
you ask. So sometimes
can
the tips
I?
will not come
Yeah,
from the
but let me
free
help
of an
you with
additional part of the
Let me
service.
help you with.
And you'll be like, okay,
then I
no,
would
no,
say,
no,
don't
no.
worry.
You get
Exactly.
So
But you
think,
stand there with
Nigerians are just entitled.
but let's not also forget another part of the
Area
tipping
boy,
culture.
hey, Auntie Tolu,
One tip.
Shewa. So for greeting me, how does that really add to me?
So there's another part of tipping they do in the US. So they have a jar sometimes if you don't feel like you have enough, because there's actually a breakdown. It's supposed to be 10% of the total amount spent, or in some states even 15%. So you just put it in a jar. So what they now do with that jar is that they will split the total tips in the jar among the servers that worked during that shift. Why? If I was good to my table, and my table puts in money.
Exactly.
Why are you
It's supposed to
sharing
be
with
for
so
you.
there's so many different ways to this tipping thing. But one thing she needs to remember is that you cannot tell me that you're going to be rude, you're not going to engage, and then you still expect a tip from me. Tipping is not mandatory.
I think, my problem is that expectation.
It's not mandatory.
And you say that no matter what it is, if you can pay for this, if you can pay for that. I have a problem with that, almost like you're putting it to me that I must.
She said if you cannot afford to tip the waiter, then you cannot afford to.
She even said that.
Isn't that entitlement?
She even said, "Oh, they might have been rude because they had a bad day." Okay, I'm not tipping because I had a bad day.
I had a bad day too.
So
I would tip for excellent service. You ain't service.
I mean,
you ain't serving
I think
me.
everybody
you ain't
would
doing
tip for
nothing
excellent
extra.
service.
You ain't
Nigerians
got
were not difficult. Once you can, you can sync with somebody who serves you or who renders. I don't know. It goes without saying.
honestly, it comes natural to
They
you.
had a cranky baby. Do you know that one of the waiters, I think at the behest of the manager, took the baby off them and rocked the baby and walked around. When they were going, I think the women had like a women hangout. She took care of that baby for them. At the end of the day, they put her in a baby chair. She was just
Who
watching
manages
while
the
the
restaurant?
mom. I can't remember. I do not know. But I was just sitting.
And let's not even lie.
When they were going,
The
tip, do you know every one of the ladies, and they were like up to 6.
Now that's
each
what
of them gave her up to 3,000 naira each.
Exactly.
That's
So,
what
but again, I was even going to say that some people actually render excellent service because they want to win staff of the month, right? So if I am satisfied with your excellent service, even if you're doing it because of the work, I will
It's
tip you.
okay.
It's not you're doing it because of your job, but I'm satisfied, I will tip you. If I don't tip you, you're doing it for your staff of the, I pray you win.
Finish.
You know what
Guys, let's move on and take a short break, but don't go anywhere because this is Catch Up Monday on Jasiri. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We're streaming live on our social media platforms at News Central TV. Join the conversation by using the hashtag Jasiri. Now, the battle between organized labor and the federal government is still on as negotiations seem to have arrived at a crossroad. Late Tuesday of last week, the NLC and the TUC postponed their nationwide strike that saw the national grid shut down as the federal government committed to offering a higher minimum wage above 60,000 naira as against 494,000 naira demanded by Labour Congress. After deliberations, that offer was increased to 62,000 naira, while NLC has countered the offer with 250,000 naira. The tripartite committee on the new national minimum wage has forwarded its recommendation to the president, Bola Tinubu, for consideration. But in another twist, the Nigerian Governors Forum has expressed concern that the proposed amount is not sustainable and will put a strain on state coffers. Did we say it was going to get there?
We said it was going to get there. So when we talked, what did we say last week?
Yeah,
when the comment
above
came
60.
out that the president was committed to any wage above 60. We're like, what does above 60
Someone
mean?
even said 62,000.
I said 62,000.
Do you know, I saw the headline, I think on Sunday, and I
turning
just
into a
started
prophet
laughing. I
on
was
that
at a
day.
restaurant, and I saw the headline, I just started laughing. I'm like, it feels like a tortoise and a cheetah running towards each other. Like, they're not even trying to, with this speed, they're not going to concede 100,000.
All right, we have a record.
I don't
Do thee not wed.
It really does depend. Do we have something to play?
Yeah, we have something to play. Let's see.
Meeting last night and some sort of agreements was reached. Government says it will pay a wage higher than 60,000. Even if it's 65,000, be careful of terminology. A wage higher than 60,000. There was no, what do you call that thing? Oh my God. Specification. What the lowest would be and what the highest. We know the lowest is 60. What if it's 61,500?
Exactly.
But I don't think it's going to
62,
be.
but not less than 60.
I don't think it's going to be that. But
Tolu,
I'm on a streak, man. I'm on a roll.
I'm a bishop.
So
You
really,
said
but this,
61.5.
I said 61.5.
And they landed at
62. 62. But
What's
what
that?
did we expect?
Actually, Sha.
So let's add to this, because it's also important to note that the organized private sector has agreed the 62,000 naira with the federal government. And that's made up of 5 business membership organizations: the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industries, Mines, and Agriculture, The Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, the Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, and the Nigerian Association of Small-Scale Industrialists, the national minimum wage is binding on all businesses with 25 or more employees. I think that's a big caveat. But even if it's only binding on those kind of businesses, all of us will feel the ramifications of 60,000, 62,000.
We keep saying that. We said it on this
100,000, whatever.
Now, the governors are saying, oh, some states we are a poor state, like our sister state. Maybe you were absent here on Friday. We knew what your uncle did.
We knew.
But we are coming there.
I don't understand.
It's okay.
Was there a DNA test? Please, it's still missing.
Some states are saying, protesting that they cannot pay it. And we talked about it on this table.
Yes.
While it's okay, it might be okay for cities, Lagos, FCT, and other states, but there are some smaller states like the Benues and the Cross Rivers or the
Say it with your
I just don't want let's not be as if and Kogi may not be able to pay it. So now where does that leave
everybody?
NLC.
So the interesting thing is, so
Organized
10
labor
states out of 36. So you have Lagos, Delta, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Rivers, Ogun, Kano, and Kaduna that can apparently pay this 62 or 60,000 naira minimum wage. But at the end of the day, what riles me again is the fact that what are you there for as a governor? You became a governor, and a lot of them are talking about the fact that they inherited debts and they're working to pay off debts and everything. But also goes back to the bloating in the civil service. Somebody was talking about the example of you have 24 drivers attending only to 5 or 4 vehicles in a fleet. What do you expect state governments to do? Sack them? Why do you have 24 drivers for 4 or 5? We need to stop and we need to be honest.
I know this might be,
government.
I seem to be towing a lot of unpopular roads and lines these days. I say that any state that cannot self-sustain, should that be a state?
Exactly.
So that means that for me, there was some communique or something they were passing about at time that some state needs to merge.
No, but we have done this before.
Yeah.
Some states merged.
Yes,
some states
more viable.
There was a time where states, Gongola, I remember that somehow, Gongola. I don't know which state.
Honestly, at this point, if there needs to be a merger, because it looks like this is backfiring.
Listen, we have merged before, and so what happened when we merge and unmerge? Everybody is seeking autonomy. If you're seeking autonomy, who are the people that sit down and pass these laws that, okay, you are viable to be autonomous?
So there should be metrics. That's another thing. Like, if you cannot afford so and so, then you cannot be a state. Because now, it's like Tolu said, you have already hired a lot of people, and now it's going to backfire on you because of that.
That's what happens in government parastatals. Listen,
honestly,
I work for one, and I know that they just have a litany of people who are not doing anything.
If this minimum wage actually stays, do you know that it will help us to sift out unwanted staff
They may
in some
not
states?
do it because their political popularity is tied to it. No governor wants to be the governor who does a mass sack, let's also be honest. But you also need to get to the point where in the 21st century, in 2024, in the internet of things, in the AI revolution, and we still have people in ministries who are holding file and pushing envelope. How are we where is the progress?
So we can repurpose. We can repurpose them.
You can repurpose them.
Yeah, because there has to be. In fact, there always is a department in government parastatals that are lacking in personnel, and probably because people don't like to go
inspect houses,
and people don't like to go there because
it sounds funny, but there are some departments, there are some state agencies that actually need people to do physical work.
Redeploy.
And there are some states that just need to have some people on contract. That this work they do, they don't have to be there every day. Even now with this COVID, the advent of COVID has showed a lot of companies that there are many people that can work from home.
You don't
need to be on site every day.
Because
so they work on contract. When you need to work, you come in, you earn your salary, you go back and
let's
do
not
other
forget
things.
that we still have ghost workers in 21st
That's what I'm saying.
century. There are still people, and there are also positions that are unnecessary. Like you can hear, just because you want to employ your uncle's daughter, your father's son, and then you give them, you create it. So because they cannot account for this, they are not willing to, because this is now going to put their action in check as well. So they're going to want to bury it. That's the reason it's not because they cannot afford these things, because it's going to dig up a lot of things that shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Do you know, so another part of this is that people are saying government needs to cut its spending. I was listening to Bayo Onanuga on radio this morning. He was on radio, and that's the Senior Special Assistant to the President, I think, on Information and Strategy or something like that. And the presenter asked him, so people are saying, cut your cost and be able to do this. And he brought up the 90 billion for pilgrimage. Do you know what Bayo Onanuga said? He said that it is I'm paraphrasing, but I know exactly what he said. It is the government's responsibility to provide for the welfare of the people. 90 billion. He talked about the fact that pilgrimage for Muslims is in the Quran. It is.
Really?
Yes, of course.
Yes, it is in the Quran.
That it's in Quran. That of course Christians as well want to go to Jerusalem. That it's government's responsibility to aid them. And I'm sitting, I'm thinking, how many people went to pilgrimage, whether it's Mecca or it's Jerusalem, versus the majority of Nigerians? Use that 90 billion for what you need for more people. Yeah. Pilgrimage is a political tool.
Yes, it is.
And as much as we can talk about it, they won't let it go because it's a political tool. It is a personal. Your relationship with your God, whatever you call him, is personal. There's no reason the state is paying for it.
Makes you feel as if for you to be able to go on pilgrimage,
you're not in the wrong if you can't afford it.
Yes, you should aspire to do like you have been saving all your life to get this done.
So you can give incentives of pilgrimage, but you cannot help people who are starving, who can't eat.
Exactly.
I don't understand.
Take a look at now. Tolu, you said 10 states so far.
Only 10 states.
10 states. So imagine if we had half of the states, or we have states in the majority who accept they're going to control it behind the scenes and make sure it doesn't reach where you can vote it in. So you can imagine if the majority, or we come together and have how many, 36 states, we have, 20 states who come out and say, okay, actually we can do this. What will then happen to the other 16 states who say they cannot do it?
So I think this is part of us also being anti-competitive. There should be a national minimum wage, but then there should be a wage above that states can pay, because states want to attract the best and the brightest. The amount of money being paid after the national minimum wage is not the same in every state in the US.
It is.
It's not the same across the UK as well.
Yes.
It's once you have a base, then you compete. We are very uncompetitive people. When our governors are going to wait for FAC allocations, why won't they be saying it's unsustainable?
Exactly.
Where are you adding? We have states who have minerals, you have states that have tourism. Where is the investment in that to be able to pay? Remove your mouth from... remove your mouth from the seat of the federal government.
And the truth is, if states decide to enrich themselves and not pick everybody, just want to run and come to Lagos or to
any state that cannot self-sustain,
you think they
cannot be a state.
They don't care. They don't need, they even want more people to know.
I need some tea.
So I'm going to tease this story because it's probably necessary for the ladies to catch fire and then reduce the fire before we come back. So let me tease this before we go for a quick break. Amidst rising poverty levels in the country,
not that one.
A very pitiable state of the economy and the minimum wage drama, President Bola Tinubu recently commissioned a 21 billion naira.
A what?
21 billion naira.
That's where your minimum wage is.
Now. Let's go to the break.
A 21 billion naira official residence for the vice president.
No, let's go on.
I have some quotes from Yusem Wike, some more details, but it comes up after the break. Unfortunately, the break did not help, especially not Catherine. But anyway, according to the FCT Minister, Yusem Wike, he said the project was awarded in 2010, about 14 years ago, and was abandoned in 2015. The budget for it was revised in January of this year. Last year, November, the National Assembly approved an additional 15 billion naira to construct the building, bringing the total cost of the project to 21 billion naira. The situation, of course, has sparked outrage about the government's spending priorities.
No, what are we supposed to say?
I don't want to be angry.
What are we supposed to say to this? How important?
We don't have.
So the president also said that it's necessary for them to complete this building because he was represented by the vice president, which is interesting. You're commissioning your own house. Anyway. But he was represented by the vice president, and he said that the completion of the project is part of his administration's commitment to completing all inherited projects. And I quote, "As we commission this state-of-the-art edifice as the official residence of the vice president, we are fulfilling a long-standing commitment and reaffirming our unwavering dedication to accountability, transparency, and efficient utilization of resources for the betterment of the nation."
Effective utilization.
So I don't know where the vice presidents of Nigeria have been staying for the past.
Maybe it was sponsored with the president.
No, they'll say there'll be other
IDP camp.
IDP camp or one of those places. You know, there are some things I'm wondering that, what are our priorities? Are we not... The nation is laboring.
Should the vice president not have a house?
There is inflation in the country. People can barely feed. And we're using this amount, even 21 billion naira into more feeding programs.
We are such a laughing stock.
Nothing
to the
upsets
rest
me
of-
more than that efficient utilization of resources that I heard.
No, it
like
said-
this is obviously.
No, for
just
me,
sad.
is the president justifying the money spent on the residents by saying it's a symbol of respect for the office and the
See, it's
individuals.
21
who
what
occupy
now?
it.
21 billion.
This thing.
Yeah.
21 billion. There goes your 21. Nigerians, there goes.
There goes
But should your
money.
advice? So I have a number of issues in terms of PR. Yes, you could have commissioned this, but it could have been a private, quiet commissioning.
Exactly.
Because right now it feels like you are literally rubbing
it in the face
And
of
they've
the
been
people.
doing that
faces.
for a while.
And so when
before now
something
we're complaining
sparks
about
off. Today, the tripartite committee has sent the 62,000 offer to government. Organized private labor has agreed. We have not really heard from NLC. They said no. They came back to 250.
250.
What happens? Go and fill your tank. So go and buy
No,
fuel.
it's not a
I don't
joke.
know. We
It's
might
not
end
a-
up with a strike notice, a strike call again by midnight.
It's not a joke case. You can't do this in the midst of negotiations for things as sensitive as this, of the welfare of Nigerians. And you're saying you're commissioning a 21 billion. I don't understand. Why, if that house was not built now, would they die? Would the inhabitants in the house die?
Honestly,
I don't understand it.
That is why.
at this point it feels like they're having
And
fun.
all these monuments, it's not like anybody will access it. It's just the vice president that will live in it with his family. And when their tenure is gone, they will still have to move out of the residence. But these are things that can be done over time. It's not.
So what I'll say is this
It's so
translates to,
terrible.
you know, before now we used to say, oh, accountability, we want to
This is
know
how
what's
we think.
happening.
You
So it's
see
like they're
finish.
saying, oh, you want to see
You
what
want-
we're
you
doing
want
with
to
the
see
money,
us?
Abi?
Yes.
This is it. There's nothing you can do.
Go back.
Because
So
how
what does that tell us?
on earth are you telling us about a 21 billion naira house
Now,
for the
house,
vice president that was there at the commissioning, and then you're even justifying it by saying it is efficient utilization of resources and it's a priority because
So,
it's an inheritance.
It's like slapping the face of the people with
No,
action.
you know what? You
not
see,
like
we
it is.
always
It
have
is
this thing.
slapping.
Nigerians always adapt. I'm sure when they're talking about Nigerians and the plight of Nigerians in their coffers, you know, where they are in their high heavens, I'm sure they just say, they will be okay. You know, Nigerians.
Should
they're very
we not
resourceful.
serve in house for the vice president?
it feels like this
So
country is
your
a
vice
joke, and
president.
it's
So on this, I'm a little bit divided.
Listen, for me-
your vice president deserves. If the vice
That's
president of
it.
Nigeria have not had an official residence,
But like
it
you
should be
said,
sorted.
why do you rub
But
it
these
in
are
the face
something,
of
this is
Nigerians?
something they can do
You could have done it very
over
privately.
time.
You could have waited until
they don't.
like there were just options in which this could
But
have landed
21
a little
billion.
bit softer. Don't also forget that when it was commissioned, the amounts that was the initial contract, it won't be the same. Everything has gone up.
Listen,
Everything has gone up.
okay, you want
so
to
you're
do
going
this,
To get it, it's
it's
going to be more
fine.
expensive now.
But can you just put it on the back burner for now? There are issues. If not, just make Nigerians believe
Lola's
we are
vibrating.
with you.
Lola's
No,
leg
it's
is
a fair.
vibrating.
I don't even
Yeah.
Do you know that
I
when
still
I was,
got
do you know
21
that when I
billion.
was,
Sanapa the Sans.
when I was the GM of a radio station, when I got there, they were supposed to, part of my package was to have a residence in Victoria Island. But do you know that every time that it comes up, and I would see my staff, that I want to work on radio 24 hours, coming from Ojodu, coming from this place and there, how would I make the radio work if they're so far off? Do you know that I said, okay, get a residence for staff first, because that will accommodate more than 10.
It will serve more people's
to
needs.
serve more
My sister
people's
told me,
needs
no.
at that time. And I am just in my own private capacity. And I made that kind of sacrifice.
C'est toi qui parles. This
So
that
what
sacrifice. Somebody
can't
look at
the
it and
vice
say,
president say,
who
can you
sacrificed
wait
her?
on this?
They will say, Lord, now you be that. Who sacrificed him? How did he help you?
Like,
so some people will tell you, be intentionally selfish. We are living in that kind of atmosphere. Everybody is intentionally selfish.
So
I'm not saying don't live or don't commission the residents. You could have done it low key. You could have done
Very
it,
low
but there are more pressing issues that Nigerians are
low-key is
battling
not
with.
even my problem. 21 billion is a lot. Is a lot.
How you know the cost of building, and it has to be palatial.
The building has been in existence for like 10 years.
okay, so it
They
wasn't
are
built.
refurbishing.
They're refurbishing, renovating.
So this is
It wasn't
refurbishing.
completed completely.
And then you
So
say
this
that
is
you
a
say this
complete
is an inherited
21
project,
billion.
but we also inherited debts. We inherited a lot of baggages that we need to sort, but we're not doing
Then
that.
we carry our two left leg and go to the west and say, okay,
have two left
lend us some money, lend us. They look at us, they must be over their tea
You know,
breaks.
sometimes
they
when
must
they
just
even
be
take
catching
pictures and you
cruise
see
on
the steel,
I want us to
Nigeria.
move on.
and you see the steel of the picture, situation.
I'm worried
you
about
can-
the image that this is, the international image that this is giving us.
What's
honestly.
international?
No, we didn't have image before. C'est fini. No, ça a perdu,
Lessons,
no?
please take us further.
further into another
weird.
hole.
Catch up Monday is just
Depress us some more.
Okay.
21 billion, though. Guys.
Okay,
And
so
we are asking for how much minimum wage the state
Abi,
cannot
catch up
pay.
on this. You will soon cry.
Our
Take
next
me away.
catch up.
Don't take me away. I want to still take me
our
away.
next catch up is about 10 Nigerian teenagers ages 15 to 19
From bad to worse.
who were rescued from human trafficking in Ghana, where they were forced into prostitution. Now, the victims were lured with promises of better lives and education. A suspect, a 24-year-old Nigerian woman, has been arrested and is being investigated. Reacting to the news, the Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, said the government will stop hotels from lodging underage girls. Now, Kennedy also said, Ohaneye also said, action against such practices like trafficking from Ministry of Women Affairs will start on Monday. Now, hoteliers will be mandated to put up a no lodging of underage girls signage outside their facilities.
I don't understand.
These are the ones that were rescued.
These were the ones rescued.
Imagine the number.
The
that,
suspect is a
that-
24-year-old.
A child.
Okay.
She just
She's barely a child
She's
herself.
barely a child
Children.
herself. That's what I'm about to say.
But she's also likely being used as a front. Because
a
what
front,
they do is they
yes.
bring some of these girls back and they use them to lure these
Lure
young girls and
other
tell
ones.
them, oh, I went to go and make money. The job is good. What are you sitting in Nigeria doing? Come and help your people, help your family, go with me.
Yeah.
And then you just
say-
Ghana here.
Just
But if
Ghana.
you say no to underage lodging, and how do you know they're young, they're teenage girls?
Is it not
who
high
look
time?
bit
All these
older
things
than
when they
their
were
ages?
gathering data.
How do you verify that?
That's what
And
I was
you
saying.
say-
I said when they were gathering data, this data that we have been gathering forever, that at every point in time we're still feeling the same data we have been feeling forever. And there's no way you can just search online and type and social security number of everybody will just come out. Because how do you want to really verify people's age? Because these days,
You can't
women
ask
look,
them for their birth.
young girls
Yes,
look older than their age.
Honestly.
So how are you going to hold someone and say you cannot stay here? And do you know that lodgings of hotels is not just for these nefarious purposes? Imagine going out of state. Like when my son went to write JAMB, they posted him all the way to Ekpe.
Actually.
My PA and he had to lodge in a hotel because we could not go from home the morning.
yeah.
The ones
So
that
imagine
go
they
to
said
Ikorodu
no
have to
lodging of
go
underage
a day.
person.
Yeah, well, I remember when I wrote my post-year me too.
So they had to
lodged
stay
with my
somewhere.
sister.
So we must forget that hotels are not just for illicit activities only. There are legitimate reasons why people lodge in hotels.
So how do you sort that out? How do you
Exactly.
sort these reasons out? Because whether we like it or not, there's so many factors that trigger this. The young woman who's in charge of this is a 24-year-old woman.
She's likely also
likely a front for a bigger
she's
people.
just a front,
somebody.
yeah.
She's
You
just the
ask,
one they
they've
caught
seen
here.
it as it is a quick way to make money. Now, in front of my, coming out of my gate, I saw a girl who was interested. My niece and her go to the same school that's just around the corner. And she and her friend were walking. First of all, I saw her and asked her, where are you going? She looks like a model. She's tall. She's pretty for her age. And she said, I said, you're on midterm or you finished WAEC. And she said, yes. I said, okay. So she stays in the hostel. So what are you doing here? Oh, I'm going to lunch. I'm going to a restaurant. And I said, okay, with your friends? Oh, yeah, with a friend of mine. I said, man, woman, and... Well, to give her credit, she was honest. She said, it's a man. I said, okay. Restaurant, yeah. Where is he picking you up from? She said, here. And she was standing on the street.
Yeah,
And
he's
she
picking
said,
you up
"Yeah,
on the
yeah."
street.
So do you want to come to the house to wait? Because me too, I wanted to
See who the man was.
And she said, no, she'll be fine. I said, okay, Kat, you are always doing Goliath. You are always buying people's market. Respect yourself and just go. I left. But I came out of my gate to order something from Jumia, so they delivered. And I saw her. I just sent to a red car without plate number.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
She was going in the car with her friend. Now, the case that we treated
Last
Last
week, the two
week.
ladies.
my dear sisters, that's how they didn't send me in my short knicker and t-shirt. I went there. Hello, 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 hello. You going? May I know you? Hello, hello.
What's your name?
Who
are you?
You, calm down.
Calm
first.
down first.
Yeah.
You see, I tried to, say...
You tried to hold it.
But that
Sometimes
day,
you can't help yourself.
I said, come. I said, ma, did I do anything wrong? I said, no, I just need to know you. Can I know you? As we say in Nigeria, can I know you? Oh, he said, where did you meet my my niece's friends. They went swimming at a restaurant, one of the restaurants that has a swimming pool. And he met them and they exchanged numbers and here they are and then they're going for lunch. I said, that lunch is not happening today, my brother. I don't mean you ill, but today I have what I want them to do for me. Ngwa,
enter the house.
Yeah.
Say, my brother, go with God, just go. I'm paraphrasing, I said, just go. It was not there.
Did you talk to them when you...
Hello. That's why I said I'm paraphrasing. Like, when we entered inside, I said, listen, you might feel I'm extra, but your parents may not know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be social media influence. You guys are on TikTok. He said, yes. You're on Instagram. You say, yes. So it might be. I say, you are going out to a date, you're wearing clothes where you never iron. You understand? It shows you, first of all, these are telltale signs for the guy to know that you guys are just young and innocent.
And innocent.
You're clueless because if you're really dressed for, you just want, like we talked about it here, excitement, adventure.
Yeah.
That's what young people are looking for. So there has to be a way. Parents, I don't know. I said to myself, I tried to hold myself. I said, no. After what we discussed with the FIBA and
It's even the times that we're living in calls for double checking of everything.
No, triple checking. And I think that everybody needs to be a gatekeeper.
You have to be a gatekeeper.
Parents need to do better because I've seen parents that would tell maybe neighbors, mind your business. This kind of thing, maybe a neighbor says, you can't go out with your friends today. And then the parents will come and say, she told me she was going out, why did you stop her? Mind your business.
I know a lot of people who say it's invasion of privacy and everything, but I think it's time you start to put spyware on your children's phones and things because you need to be able to track them. My daughter is in school, but do you know she gives a blow-to-blow account of her daily walk. One day my son called me and I wanted to video call him and he
was rejected.
Denied my video call. I called my daughter. I said, go to wherever your brother is because I must see him. He now said, mommy, I was just not dressed. Why are you now panicking? I said, panicking for where? Because these days, we need to step up on our parenting for our children.
Yeah. We need to.
We're no longer doing it because they like it.
Gatekeepers as well.
We're doing it because we want their lives preserved.
We're in desperate times.
We're in desperate times.
Which is why I say, well, all these things about friends. I'm not friends with my daughter. We're friendly or we get along well. I'm not her friend. Until she's,
I'm her mother.
Even once she's 18, I told her adult age is 24. I keep shifting. I keep shifting the goalpost. She'll get it. But what I'm getting, I also want to get at. So one, I'm coming back to that, my favorite agency, NOA, nationwide campaign.
Yes.
And I know at a point in time, Edo State was really in the spotlight for this thing. If different states have different ways of dealing with it, address it. NOA, nationwide campaigns. This needs to go into school curricula.
Yes.
Because it is spread out across the country.
Yes.
And many parents have their heads in the sand like ostriches and they think that their children go to church with them, they come home, they don't have access.
Never
Social media, I've already started warning her. You'll think it's another girl you're talking to. It's a lie. She'll say, I'll send you breast. It's not her breast she's sending you, but you will send your breast. Because you think you're talking to another girl, they're using young boys. All these, you're so mature for your age.
Yeah, I hear that word, Tolu. You're so mature for your age. I told you,
it's a hook.
It's a Tolu. It's a hook.
Bait.
Parents should be very careful about the kind of times when my daughter was 13, if I didn't catch it early, I cannot imagine what would have happened. All these strangers infiltrate all these girls' WhatsApp groups of girls' schools.
Yes.
They'll be telling that thing Tolu said was so prominent. You look so good for your age.
My own is
bigger than your age.
Guys, let's all be gatekeepers because
we all have to be
you
gatekeepers.
never know. Be your brother's keeper. Be your neighbor's
children's keeper.
You cannot be my neighbor. You cannot be introduced to me as a friend to my family, whether it's my niece, my daughters, my son. My eye will be in your business, and I carry their friends. If you bring somebody to the house, as a parent, please put your eye down. You understand? You understand where they're going because the signs are always there, always. We can't be too busy for our children. Let's move on to our next catch-up, which is our last catch-up, which is on what? Matrimonial jurisprudence. You heard right. So a video surfaced over the weekend, which we need to explore to have a better understanding on the divorce proceedings in Nigeria. Maureen Assisi, you all know her as Red Vigor, the ex-wife of Nollywood actor Blossom Chukwujeku, claims they're technically still married despite their publicized split in 2019. She states that the divorce was never legally finalized as she didn't sign any legal documents. And it's not the first time.
Yeah.
It's not the first time, actually. This happens all the time.
Now, let's not forget that in May 2022, Blossom Chukwujeku, who you know as the actor, and was divorced with this lady. I mean, it was such a messy divorce. Moved forward with his life, celebrating a traditional wedding. And he wedded Winifred, in Benin City, Edo State. Now, the couple followed up with a white wedding in June at Christ Embassy Church in Lagos, officiated by the church's founder, Pastor Chris Oyakilome.
Okay, if we have the video now, let's hear from her.
Let's take a look.
Divorce. No. Why?
I don't know, because it was very, very public. And you haven't even talked.
No, that happened. My divorce happened way before, or my separation rather happened way before it went public. By the books, no.
So technically, you all are still married.
Technically. Technically.
You're still a married woman?
When you say you're divorced, it means you signed papers, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I haven't signed anything.
I believe the judge is like, you're divorced.
Yeah, you signed
Y'all are
papers.
single.
Yeah. I haven't. I don't even know what a divorce paper looks like. I haven't seen one before.
I'm so confused.
This goes back to tell us to what that my very favorite lawyer boy said.
We need to bring him on the show one day. We need to bring him on.
We need to bring it because
A lot of people are technically
Now that the
unmarried,
church
and a lot of
joined
people
this
are technically still
That's
married.
why because when I was reading this earlier, I was like, but wait, didn't I remember reading about him getting remarried?
remarried.
There are so many gray areas. There's so many gray areas.
Talk it,
With this.
say it.
Some people never get to actually sign.
It
But the
depends if
divorce
they
is
got it in
finalized.
Yeah,
absentia.
what they say.
So that means they are able to prove that the other party did not come. So they can give you a divorce in absentia.
But
you know that
it's
in
here
Nigeria, you
visible.
can
She's been based in Nigeria,
a lot of
the whole
people.
process of the
You
divorce.
can bend a lot of people. They
Well,
say
you can
in
bend it,
a certain area in Lagos where divorce is the process faster.
Because I got
Better.
mine too in absentia.
No, but she
because
said
he
she
never
didn't
came
even
to
get
court.
the
That's what
paper.
I'm
She doesn't
saying.
know
So
what
they
it looks
serve
like.
He
you.
was
So what
served, he
happens
was
is that
filed,
you can
he
be,
was in court.
they can tell you, they couldn't find you to serve, or they
Yeah.
actually serve you, but they don't really
They'll serve
communicate
last
the
known
dates.
residence.
Exactly. So by the time there's hearings and these things have happened behind your back.
Yeah.
Behind your back, you don't know Jack. You didn't sign the dotted lines.
So
You just
is
see
it so
that
in her
they say
saying that, because she
you're
talked about it, I think it's been like 3 years or plus now, is it that she doesn't want the divorce to go through? If she's hearing that the man has said they're divorced and he has remarried, check the documentation so you two can know where
Of
you
course, she
stand.
can file for
Catherine is holding
Catherine,
something.
say something.
Catherine is holding something.
Because she called it a separation, because according to her,
Yes.
she's not divorced.
And even if they were in court,
Catherine, say something.
they are going to have
Tell you doesn't
they are going to
involve.
have served her some kind of notices
Yes.
and things. And if every time she doesn't come to court, the possibility of getting the divorce.
We
in
all
absentia is
know
there.
how the court system
but this is
can
quite
be easily
public.
compromised, Lolo.
I know.
We all know how
That's why I
it is
say
to be
maybe
compromised.
it was done
So
like
they
she
can
was-
plan with judges. It's happened several times over. You plan with the judges and then everything is done quickly, maybe because you want to quickly move on with your life and quickly, and then you just find out that, oh, okay, so if you say you're not divorced, or you say you're divorced, okay, and I don't have a paper that I signed, can you send me the judgment?
The
Can
decree
you
needs
send
to
me
be
the decree, and then,
So,
you know,
the
it
other
will
part
just be
of this
snapped and sent to
is
you.
how long it can also take on the flip side.
Yeah, that's why they go
it's
to
not
OTA,
quick
because
like
OTA
that
is
in-
faster. Divorce meltdowns are quicker in OTA. In Lagos, they're probably a backlog.
I was
so
in court
it
for
takes
2
a
years.
lot of time. You were in
Or
court
more.
for 2 years. This
Not
is
even
true.
not just the backlog. You have judges who seem so tied to families staying together. In some places, in some ways, it can be a good thing, because there was a thread that was out.
Trust me, OTA is the place that happens.
There
like
was a
this.
thread on Twitter where people were talking about, lawyers were talking about couples that they were representing for divorce, and one will say that they were on video call with the judge, wife and husband were wearing anko. Meanwhile, there was
There's one that they came to the court with Anko, and the lawyer was like, see who was the divorce.
And there was the wife
Yeah,
got
but that's
pregnant
why
in the
the
midst
court
of
would
divorce.
always told
So that's why the
part
courts
of
will
our
always try.
arbitration and try
But
to
when you
mediate.
see time and time, the two of them are telling you it's over. Stop forcing it. I have a friend who has gone through it almost 3 or 4 years now. The guy will not show up in court.
Yeah, but you can
He
get it
has
in
apparently
absentia.
moved on with his life. He has not done an official marriage, but he has another child. Why is her life hanging in the balance because she's trying to do things the right way?
I don't understand. So there's something.
The judge keeps sending them
there's
back.
something, in the law. No, there
She
is
take her
something
matter
not
away from that court. and
exactly.
go
There's
somewhere
something
else.
not right. there's something not right because she's tied down now against her will. You don't want her to move on because men do that.
But Nigerian culture allows men to move on.
Yeah, to move on without just.
They just become a law marriage. They just got
and they will say, okay, if she wants to, let her just go ahead too and live her life.
And they don't bother about the
sometimes it's like that. I mean,
even annulment. Do you know how
that?
difficult it is to get an annulment in Nigeria?
Yeah.
telling
Do you know
I feel
that
like
in
it's not to
Nigeria there is no such thing as signing divorce papers? Like we see in the movies. The Nigerian lawyer clarified this contrary to the public perception and popular depictions in the media. The divorce process in Nigeria involves a judicial process where a petition is filed and the case is heard in court, and then the court grants a decree nisi, which becomes absolute after 3 months, officially dissolving the marriage between the filing of the petition and the hearing of the decree nisi. It can take years. So the signing of divorce paper is a myth with no legal basis.
Wow.
It's just for...
Don't be fooled by Nollywood.
Yeah, but
and
you
Hollywood,
collect
though.
your transcript from court.
Exactly. Every party should have a
That's
copy.
what I have.
no, I think the
Oh,
emotional.
so what if one party wants a divorce and the other one doesn't want a divorce and maybe...
The judges in some situations like
No,
that will
as
ask
long
for the
as it's in
family to be
essential, if you've done
involved.
everything by the book, they will give you your divorce.
Not always. You might get it eventually.
Eventually,
The
it might
problem is
take
sometimes
time.
they'll bring the family in, say the family should mediate, you should go to arbitration, you should try to work out the issue because one party is still willing. But
But
eventually...
so what if I'm
persists.
married and I'm outside the country and I come back and find out I'm divorced?
Okay, so they say that it's time for us to go now because Blessings wants to throw, what do they call it? Throw something into the... Yo, just hold it. We'll talk about it later. Thank you so much for joining us on Catch Up Monday. Blessings, are you with us? You're the one supposed to take us away.
I'm still thinking about... Okay, that's all we can catch up on today. I'm still going to catch up with them on something. But remember to stay tuned on Mondays to Fridays by 10 a.m. to see us bring you all the trending, thought-provoking, and hot conversation. I'm sure your mouth is wide open like mine right now. But from me and the ladies, it's goodbye. See you again tomorrow. Wow.